My name is Jenny, and I'm a wife and mom raising 2 kids. But I used to live a more glamorous life as a TV reporter. I was on the nightly news interviewing pop stars and politicians. So when I said goodbye to TV and hello to motherhood, I suddenly discovered what we moms are up against. We live in a world that tells us to be rich and famous, thin and successful. You know, almost nobody says, "Oh, hey, you're a mom? That is fabulous." But you are fabulous, and I'm here to tell you why.
It's the Channel Mom Show, celebrating you with Jenny Dean Schmidt.
Attention, moms. You know, we're also concerned about how we look on the outside, but what about our insides? Now you can age-proof your body with Protandem. Just reach for what's been called the best anti-aging product out there, as seen on the Today Show. Sign up now as a preferred customer, and after receiving your 3rd bottle, get a $50 Visa gift card. Just click on the ad to the right of this video to get started.
I did want to go to a point you made earlier on this respect idea, because it is controversial, and women are thinking, you know, well, what I got to put on cheerleading outfit and just worship the guy?
Yeah.
And particularly, what about those situations that are despicable? Well, my dad attempted to strangle my mother to death. I was probably 2 years old. We don't know, but after my dad died, I told my mother my story, and she was in shock that I remembered. And I said, and she said, "You can't remember this. You can't remember this. You were too little." And I said, "Well, did it happen?" And as I described it, and she said, "Yes." And then when I was 11, I heard, you know, my mom and sister talking. My sister was 5 years older. And I asked what they were talking about, and it came out that my dad was committing adultery. So my dad had challenges. He later found Christ. His life changed. My mother was instrumental. My mother was a very strong woman, strong personality, successful career woman. But here's the point. Mom separated for several years. So we're not talking about remaining in harm's way. If any woman is in harm's way, you get out of harm's way.
Right.
But we are talking about you're married to a man of basic goodwill, but he simply isn't who you want him to be. And the deal is, when you come across in a way that feels disrespectful to him, you can dismiss that all day long, or you can conclude that he has a vulnerability and he interprets things in a way that you don't. He's just very sensitive to these kinds of things that you may not be, in the same way you have your areas of sensitivity. And there comes a point when we have to trust the other, especially when you see their spirit deflate. Instead of saying, "Oh, no, what did I say? Oh, brother, now what did I do?" Rather than doing that, give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, and it takes some maturity in that part. And I want you to be able to get to a couple of the descriptions, because I found them very compelling. I don't think women know, I can't remember which is for which, the couples in the chairs, but I don't think women know that really we are asked to do certain very basic things. I guess it's couple for the man, or no, chairs for the man. And you spell it out as an acronym. And even sexuality is included at the end, and it says, appreciate and respond to his need, do not deprive him. And I think some women would be shocked that you're a pastor, I believe, that you would be insisting that that is very important, but it is. It's a way to receive respect. So can you tell us a couple pointers in the acronym couple and the acronym chairs for husbands and wives to follow?
Right. Well, on that point, everyone needs sexual intimacy, but our sons, and we always talk to women about their sons. How do you want your sweet daughter-in-law to treat your precious baby boy?
Yeah.
That's when the light bulb comes on, particularly after I sing that mantra a little bit, and she's going to have the same attitude toward your precious baby boy. But the anatomy of the man needs sexual release, and so he didn't ask to be created that way. Now, we understand women who are abused, and we understand, so I'm sensitive to that, as I'm sensitive to my mother. But nonetheless, he has a need in certain areas, and sometimes he's moody simply because he's feeling deprived, and it's not really about sex, but he's beginning to feel dishonored. But we get emails from women whose husbands are involved in pornography and are depriving them, and so women can identify with the need as well when there's deprivation.
Sure.
But I think apart from that more sobering thought, we challenge women, for instance, with what we call a shoulder-to-shoulder friendship, and we challenge men with what we call a face-to-face closeness, that women have a need to communicate. Dr. Deborah Tannen, the great linguist, said that women build rapport by giving the report. So they give the report to build rapport, and women want to connect at an emotional level, and they want to talk about their day. But it doesn't seem that he volleys or he doesn't give her the time, and she has a need for that face-to-face encounter. And when she doesn't get that, she had it in courtship. You could hardly wait to get into that corner where the two of you would talk about your day, looking at each other and gazing each other's eyes. But then after marriage, men don't have that as an emotional need. He'd prefer to do something frivolous and come home and just disengage from the day. He doesn't want to rehash what he went through because it'll just upset him again.
Right.
So now you have an interesting male and female difference. She wants to connect through talking face to face, and he would prefer not to. In fact, she would like to talk about the marital problems on a daily basis to keep the marriage up to date in order to prevent major marital problems. Whereas a man is feeling, if you're talking about marital problems on a daily basis, you have a major marital problem.
Right.
So he has a tendency to avoid it. So here's the deal. As a man of honor, he does the loving thing by giving her face-to-face time. Sarah and I would have a 15-minute time every night after dinner where we would just talk. Basically, she would share her heart. That's a need that she has. On the other side of the equation, the shoulder-to-shoulder friendship without talking is a need that many men have. That's why he calls her in. Come on, let's watch the Super Bowl.
Right.
Come on in, let's do this. And she thinks that's a waste of time. If we're not going to talk face-to-face, I got other things that are more important. Well, wait a minute. He's actually as energized by shoulder-to-shoulder time together, doing some activity without talking, and he'll eventually open up. It's amazing that he will.
Yeah.
But he has a need for your mere presence, and that mere presence energizes him in the way that you are energized as a woman after an hour of heart-to-heart encouraging conversation.
Yeah.
And women need to trust that because it's counterintuitive and it's countercultural. It seems like a waste of time, but it's not to your husband.
No, it's not. And the truth to me is just profound. I wish I could put this book in everybody's hand. And I just thank you. Again, please allow me to thank you for discovering this and putting it out there, because the things you talk about, granted, there are those exceptions to this rule in abusive situations or dysfunctional situations. But for the most part, as I said, 85, 90, 95% of people could really benefit from this. And women should sit down and say, hey, I'm just going to be willing to watch the game with him. And I'm going to also hope that he will spend some face-to-face time with me. That is just almost universal.